Hello again, everyone. This video is going to offer an overview of the grade contract. So when you make it to our landing page, if you navigate down to contract, there will be a copy of the grade contract. Grade contracts sound kind of confusing, but they're really pretty simple. The premise of this is you read it, there's a lot of wordage in it and everything, but bottom line is if you complete your work, you will get a good grade. And a grade contract outlines how much of everything you need to satisfactorily complete in order to get an A or a B or a C or fail whatever you end up making in this class. I won't be giving your work letter grades, but there will be a placeholder that you've completed the work satisfactorily with 1 point. If you don't complete your work, you'll get 0 points, or if you don't complete it in a satisfactory way, satisfactorily. Why does that sound so weird to me? Okay. Anyhow, this grade contract outlines the expectations for satisfactory coursework. I like using grade contracts because it allows you all as students to focus on your efforts reading and writing and not so much worry about your work being perfect. So again, back to the whole AI thing, that's going to submit a perfect paper. I don't care about perfect. I just care that you're practicing. That is the only thing I care about. And with this grade contract, it gives you wiggle room. You know, if you complete your work, you're going to get credit. And that's really what it should be at the end of the day. If you're putting in good faith effort and you are working hard on your stuff, it's going to pay off and you will grow as a writer. You'll grow as a thinker, as a reader. Um, Make sure you read through the grade contract carefully before you decide what you're going to contract for. Um, you will get the opportunity to revisit your grade contract at midterm, and see if you want to adjust what you're contracting for. And then at the end of the semester, um, there'll be a final grade negotiation to decide what you've actually earned. Um, with that having been said, the expectations for satisfactory coursework are lined out here. You need to meet deadlines. Students who are contracting for an A can only be late on work 3 times. You have to complete at least 90% of the journal entries. So if you have 10 journal entries this semester, you can only miss one. Um, Discussion boards. You need to engage in those regularly, and each week that we have one, respond to at least 3 of your peers after you make your own post on the discussion board. If we do peer review, you have to complete that. With the core writing projects, you have to submit each one of these. If you don't submit any one given core project, you may fail. So you have to turn in all of the core writing projects. This means turning in your literacy narrative, your rhetorical analysis, your research synthesis, and your portfolio. Those must be turned in, and they cannot be generated by AI. They can't be work you've submitted in another class. These have to be writing projects that you have completed specifically for this class by yourself. And like I said, they do not have to be perfect. I am not looking for perfect. I am only looking for you to write. And that bottom line is going to help you grow as a writer. I don't want perfect. I just want you practicing. And then there's the portfolio. You have to submit a portfolio. If you don't submit a portfolio, it can reduce your final grade to a C, a D, or even a failing grade. Students who meet the requirements for A but don't complete the portfolio will earn the grade of a C. So it's going to knock you down 2 letter grades. At the end, make sure you complete the portfolio. It's super easy. 80% of it is work you've already completed because portfolios showcase your work. So just make sure when the time comes, you submit that. And you'll get reminders later in the semester how important that is. So don't worry. Like, and I do want to tell you, as long as you're doing the work, you will not fail. It is almost impossible to fail this grade or this class. Like, if you're completing the work, you will not fail this class. If you're completing it on time, satisfactorily, like you can't fail. It's just that simple. This class is only about practicing and completing sustained writing projects. Like you have to write in order to grow from this class. So that is what you must complete if you're contracting for an A. I do understand if something happens that you have to submit late work more than 3 times. Like I understand stuff like that happens if you get sick or something like that. Your family member gets sick. There is something called the plea that we'll get into in a moment, but we will go ahead and continue with what contracting for a B would look like. If you're contracting for a B, you agree to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 above with the following modifications. You can have 4 instances of late work if you're looking for a B. You should satisfactorily complete and submit 80 of the journal entries. So if we're doing 10, you need to submit 8 of them. Um, Discussion boards, you need to regularly respond to your peers and the prompts themselves. We have peer review. Students who otherwise meet requirements for B but don't complete the portfolio will earn a D. Remember, the portfolio is 2-letter grades. It will knock off of your grade. If you're contracting for a C, you agree to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 above with the modifications that you can have 5 instances of late work. If we do 10 journal entries, submit at least 7 out of 10. Regularly do the discussion boards, peer review, and if you do not submit your portfolio at the end and you've already done the work for a C, you will fail the class. Unsatisfactory coursework is completing fewer than 70, but at least 50% of journal entries, not participating in discussion, peer reviews. Um, Submit all core assignments, but after revision, don't meet significant requirements of one or more of the assignments. If you don't complete a portfolio, students who would otherwise earn a grade of D based on journal entries, discussion or peer review participation or core assignments, and don't complete the portfolio will fail. You can fail by regularly missing deadlines, as that's outlined above. Complete fewer than 50% of journal entries. If you don't participate in discussion boards and you fail to submit one or more core assignments unless we've negotiated an alternative. So at the end of the semester, there will be a final grade negotiation. At the end of week 1, you'll decide the grade you're contracting for. So at the end of this week, you'll be deciding what that is going to be. Um, you'll complete a final grade negotiation at the end of the semester where you go back and you review your participation and work completed to assess which grade you qualify for. You can adjust your final grade projection up or down from the grade you contracted for. And you and I can discuss your final grade before the end of the semester if you would like. I do reserve the right to adjust the final grade based on your work. Um, as long as you're looking at what you've completed honesty, that shouldn't be. I'm sorry. If you're looking at what you've completed honestly, that shouldn't be a problem. Use of AI without written justification provided by the student, and my permission granted to you is expressly forbidden. If you use AI, you have to write a paragraph outlining how and why it was used. And the justification cannot be written with the help of AI. Students may not use generative AI to produce their work for any assignment submitted in this course. If AI is used for revision purposes, the revisions must be completed by the student. Students may not cut and paste generated material. I will know if you're using AI and I will call you out on it. It's always uncomfortable, but we will meet with the Code of Student Conduct and discuss it with them if it comes down to it. The final aspect of this is the plea. Sometimes things happen in life that are out of our control and they can really throw a wrench into our plans. So if something happens, you can use the plea one time over the course of the semester. You can arrange a Zoom meeting with me and we can discuss your concerns about not meeting their criteria of the grade contract. The plea can be used in situations that are ongoing or might threaten your standing in the class, and you and I will negotiate a fair solution or compromise. It might involve agreeing to some work that's normally associated with a higher grade than you're contracting for, like a student contracting for a B or a C doing a digital project to make up journal entries. Invoking the plea doesn't guarantee you'll be able to pass. In some situations, you may need to withdraw and retake the course. That might be the best course of action. But that's something that we can discuss and decide together. The plea is not an out for anyone who doesn't fulfill part of the contract, but it's for rare, unusual circumstances outside of your control. And we can always meet and discuss that together and figure out the best direction to move forward. Um, I really want to see you guys succeed. I know what it's like. I remember my life when I was an undergrad. I remember the stresses. I remember everything in my life going wrong at that point, and I remember the grace that some of my instructors showed me and how supportive and caring they were. And I want you to know that I'm here for you. I want you to know that I see you. I know I might not know exactly what you're going through, but I do understand that life is hard. We are human beings living for the first time, trying to navigate this crazy world. And I want to see you succeed, and I will do everything within my power to help you along the way. As long as you are trying, I'm I'm absolutely positive that you can pass this course, and I have faith in all of you. If at any point you find yourself falling behind or you need to talk to someone about finding a course of action in this course to fix the direction you're going in, or if you need resources, you need to talk to somebody, like at the counseling center or something. If you need anything, I might not have the answer, but I can help you find someone who does. And I just want you guys to know that I'm here for you in that respect. And I want to see you succeed. So that is the grade contract. It's really confusing, but bottom line, it's here so you know I'm not giving you letter grades. And as long as you're completing your work without plagiarizing, you will pass the class. If you write, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be complete, and you need to put effort in. That's it. So that is all for the grade contract. There are multiple places to access the grade contract in Blackboard. You can access it here, and it's also accessible in modules. If you navigate down to week 1, here is a copy of the grade contract that is hosted in Canvas. So if anyone has any questions, please let me know. I think I'm going to go ahead and put up a little area on this left-hand side ribbon for people, maybe even in discussions. I'm going to pin it so if anyone has a question, they can post in it and other people can jump in and answer those if they see it. Um, I usually do a Discord server, but this semester I'm kind of taking a step back from that for a moment. Um, I may go ahead and make a Discord server solely for projects later on in the semester, but now I think we're going to pause that. Transitioning to Canvas, there are a lot of moving parts, and it made it a bit easier this semester. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, reach out to me through email or in our discussion section. I'll go ahead and open something there. I'm so excited to read your all's work. Please remember to be considering what you'd like to grade, like what you would like to contract for. And I think that is the end of this one.